Right, for this one, I decided I'm going to do this in the comfort of my warm bed, in my warm otter hoodie, which my beloved gave me, which I'm very happy with and forever living now, because this is my second skin. Anyway, purely because of the cold themes that was going on in my brain, I thought I would do a review of my favourite author, Mr. Green. Do you hear what I hear? Okay, yes, I am fully fucking aware it is a Christmas folk horror, so I'm a little late to the party. I was going to do it at Christmas, but shit happens, and luckily Mark is a absolute diamond of a human being, he was very understanding about my situation, so I think he would approve of my current attire being so warm and snug, which I am now. And to be fair, like, reading that story, I was getting cold. I was like, oh god, it's in the middle of a fucking blizzard, I don't like it, it's cold, I don't like the cold. I like being snug and warm and happy in my little otter hoodie. So Mark brings forward this twisted folk horror. So we meet Arthur. Now, Arthur isn't the biggest fan of Christmas. I kind of get him, like the old grumpy old man situation. I feel you, Arthur. In my soul, I feel you. Because when it comes to Christmas, I'm not really that much of a Christmas person. However, my beloved mother is very Christmas orientated, loves Christmas, so I spent Christmas with them and it was glorious. Anyway, onto the story. Arthur goes to the pub, meets up with Mick, and decides, yeah, we'll have a Christmas Eve pint, and then he'll head back and spend Christmas Day with the wife. Yeah, that ain't happening. So we end up with something creepy happening, and then it kind of goes very Jeepers Creepers at one point where you've got, do you hear what I hear? You know, like whenever you hear the song like Jeepers Creepers, where'd you get those peepers? Very similar kind of theme you got going there, because whenever you hear, do you hear what I hear? You're like, oh god, something's coming. As soon as you hear that sentence, or read that sentence in this case, you're like, shit, something's coming. So Arthur and Mick get lost in the snow, and they start hearing this creepy shit screaming and stuff, and a body comes flying from the sky and crashes through the trees, and it's just this poor woman's been eviscerated. And then this golem looking motherfucker, which in all honesty is a really good description for this thing, but now all I can think of whenever I read that kind of description was, oh, Precious has mitts on hooks, and you just burst out laughing. To be fair, it has atmosphere, it's so eerie. There were parts in this story where, like, they get held up, like, they end up going back to the pub. The ferret is, like, the safety zone, and it very Shaun of the Dead. Very Shaun of the Dead. Mixed in with, like, aspects of, like, Jeepers Creepers and The Feast. It's, like, all these different classic horrors just blended up into this folk story, which is very much based on, like, Icelandic kind of folk horror mixed in with Christmas, which is ingenious in itself. But this is the guy who came up with Birdsong. I have no doubt in my mind anything that I end up reading by Mark is going to be freaking amazing. So I wasn't disappointed in the slightest by this one, I'll tell you that much. I was sitting there freezing, buggering, like, oh god, I'm just stuck in the snow. That bit reminded me, there's a bit where it kind of does remind me of the movie Krampus, where the little girl's walking through this absolutely horrid snowstorm, all the houses are barely recognisable, and just the way that he presented that in his writing was just, it sent a chill down my spine. That was how good it was. And then you also get it from the perspective of the family that was in the pub. So this guy Glenn and his wife Erica and their kids, William and the little girl. Oh my god, like, Mark does not give no shits. Like, he will Stephen King that crap. Like, you thought the murder scene of Georgie in It was detailed? This is like a whole new level. So, if I'm going to recommend something, even though Christmas has been and gone, this is still a folk horror that you need to read, because it's just chef's kiss. It's just brilliant. And I definitely recommend wrapping up in beforehand, because you will have a chill run down your spine when you read it.